Today we're going to be looking at main idea questions, but before we dive into the content, I'd first like to tell you guys about our free SAT course. So Surmount.1 is an SAT project that I've been developing, and it is for those who are desperately needing aid regarding their prep. So the course is targeted for students taking the December SAT, and we will be offering daily classes schedules to follow, weekly test walkthroughs, and guest speaker sessions. So if you guys are interested, the link to the Discord will be down below. So now let's dive into the main idea questions. So in terms of questions in the SAT, there are generally two types of questions. So first of all, there are general questions, and secondly, there are detail-oriented questions. So the general questions basically ask about broader concepts in the passage, and these should be answered from your initial reading of the passage. The next one is detailed-oriented questions, which ask about the specific information or relationships within the passage. And these can almost always be supported by an explicit, but often cleverly hidden piece of information or relationship within the passage. So when it comes to main idea questions, there are a lot of typical phrases. So the first phrase is the primary purpose of the passage is. So it talks about the primary purpose. The second type of question is the main idea of the passage is. And others are which of the following best describes the organization of the passage, or maybe the passage as a whole can be characterized as which of the following. So identifying the main idea and the primary purpose in your initial read is key to understanding and answering these types of questions. So when you're approaching these types of questions, you should be able to answer these types of questions without having to reread the entire passage over and over again. So basically, rereading the passage in this case for answering these types of questions can be a distraction, because an incorrect answer choice may pertain only to a detail in a body paragraph. Therefore, as you reread, you might spot that attractive details and choose the wrong answers that are focused rather on the detail-oriented side of the question. So instead of rereading, what I suggest you guys to do is to dive right into the answer choices and start eliminating. So when it comes to these questions, it is important that instead of searching for the right answers, you should search for ways to eliminate the choices that you are given. So let's do an example here. So let's read this together. The following passage is from a 1994 collection of essays about animals written by a poet, philosopher, and an animal trainer. The question that comes first to my mind is this: what would it mean to say that an animal has the right to pursuit of happiness? How would that come about, and in a relationship to whom? In speaking of animal happiness, we are often tend to mean something like creature comforts. The emblems of this are the golden retriever rolling in the grass, the horse with his nose deep in the oats, kitty by the fire. Creature comforts are important to animals. Grub first, then ethics is a motto that would describe many a wise Labrador retrievers. And I have a bull terrier named Annie, whose continual quest for a perfect pillow inspires her to awesome feats. Alright, so the question is, the author presents examples in lines 7 to 8 in order to: choice A, illustrate the variety of activities in which animals engage in. Choice B, suggest the appearances of happiness are deceptive. Choice C, evoke images of contentment. And D, support an apparently implausible statement. Alright, so line 7 to 8. Okay, so line 7 to 8 is probably referring to this passage here. It's somewhere along this passage. Okay. So, alright. Okay. So, let's start with eliminating the answer choices. So let's look at the first choice. Illustrate the variety of activities in which animals engage in. Alright, so yeah. As you can see in line 7 to 8, it does show that animals are engaged in a variety of activities. However, we can tell that this is not the main purpose of the passage. because the passage isn't focused on the activities, the variety of activities which these animals engage in. However, as you can see, it talks about the animal happiness, something of creature comforts. So therefore, we can eliminate A. Alright, so B suggests that appearances of happiness are deceptive. So the way to eliminate this answer, a clever way, is to know whether this answer choice is a positive, neutral, or negative tone. So let's see. So the appearance of happiness are deceptive. Deceptive is a negative word. So therefore, the answer choice for this is a negative tone. Alright, so this is negative. However, if we go back to the passage, we do see that the passage is not written in a negative tone. Therefore, this answer choice is wrong. Yep. And also, there's no part of the passage that indicates that even if animal happiness differs from human happiness, it does not suggest that the examples presented in line 7 to 8 are deceptive or misleading. As you can see, the emblems of this are the golden retriever rolling in the grass, the horse with his nose deep in the oats, kitty by the fire. These examples aren't really related to deceptiveness in general, so therefore we can eliminate B. Alright, so let's look at C. Evoke images of contentment. So, yep. So if you look at the example, the emblem, the golden retriever swallowing in the grass, the horse with his nose deep in the oats, and kitty by the fire, well, these are all examples of what they suggest are creature comforts. So creature comforts, well, is the keyword creature comforts similar to contentment? Yes. So the answer is C. So there are images that evoke or bring to mind the notions of happiness or contentment. Therefore, C is the correct answer. Now, let's look at D. So D is support an apparently implausible argument. Alright, so D is incorrect because the passage does not suggest that anyone would be likely to find its argument implausible or hard to believe. There are no evidence in regards to this answer choice in the passage, so therefore it can be eliminated. Yeah, so by using identifying the tones, by using the keywords that are identified in the passage, such as animal happiness, creature comforts, we arrive to the conclusion that the answer of this question is C. So when approaching these types of questions, these are the types of strategies that you should imply and use when you solve these types of questions. As main idea questions are very common in the SAT reading section, it is important that you understand and make sure you get them correct. Thank you so much.